everybody, welcome. Happy Monday. I'm very excited. So this recipe is one from my yiayia, straight from her hands. It's called Greek Avgolemeno. Now this is a soup that will literally solve all your problems. Like if you have a headache, it'll solve it. If you're sick, it'll solve it. If you're feel a little bit sad, it'll solve those problems. I promise you that. I can't it just comes straight from yiayia, so it has to. So anyway, this is a bit of a processed recipe, but we are gonna make it and I'll show you through the whole thing. And like typical yiayia recipes, it's very much about eyeballing things. So we're gonna do that today. I'm gonna take you through the eyeballing, what I'm seeing, what I'm doing, because it's one of those things, it's more of like a feel recipe, you know what I mean? But we'll make the stock first. So basically we're making a chicken stock, super easy. So I've got a whole, it's actually half a celery, but I would argue that's a whole celery. That is a big, big celery. But what you actually want when you are gonna buy your celery is you want lots of leaves. So if you can ask the greengrocer or whatever for the leafiest one, that makes the greenest stock. It's the best. So let's go. This is a big ass pot. Honestly, I don't know how many liters it is, but it's about the size of my head. So that's what we're gonna, oh my God, it's about the size of the mic too. All right, basically it's a big pot. We're gonna put chicken drumsticks in. You can use chicken necks, you can use chicken thigh, you can honestly use whatever. I like to use bone-in chicken because it gives the best flavor. So I've got 8 chicken drumsticks here. You can use, if you have chicken necks, I'd probably put in a whole 2 packs of those. I'm gonna put in that. 2 onions, I'm gonna cut them in half. These are just brown onions, regular ones, go straight into the pot. And all of these things, if you have veggie scraps, if you have whatever, that can go into your stock as well. If you have it in the freezer or if you just got it next to you in like a composty bin, you can put those scraps into here. Honestly, it's perfect. 2 carrots, cut them up, tuck them straight in. Potatoes, 2 potatoes. Now with us as kids, I used to get the carrots and get all the celery and I would eat that in my soup and all the chicken. So good. So that chicken, you can actually shred it and you'll eat it later. I'll show you that. But anyways, this is veggie stock cubes. And you're probably thinking, why would you put veggie stock cubes into a thing that you're actually making stock? Don't fight me. Fight my yiayia, okay? It gives it like a real depth of flavor. It's so salty and delicious. If you don't do this, I find it's kind of bland. No offense, but anyway, put these in. This is like 7 veggie stock cubes. That's a lot, but we're gonna chuck that in here. And then we have, I would say, a whole big celery. I'm just gonna chop it into pieces like that. It doesn't matter, as long as it fits in there easy. You want the whole thing, every single bit, all the leaves. I actually wish that had a leafier one because it would turn it more green. But you get what you get and you don't get upset in this house, that's what we say. That's what Mum says. So here we go, all the celery, as much as you possibly can. You want your stock to look colorful because you know that makes the most amount of flavor. So there it is, done. So you need to fill this up with water, completely cover, and you're gonna low simmer for about 4, 5, 6 hours, but if you don't have time, 3 hours is probably your minimum, 7, 8 hours is your maximum. And then once we're done, we're gonna drain it, and then we're gonna make the soup. So it's been about 4 hours now, and this is cooked and it's perfect. I would personally prefer to leave it for another 4, but we're on a time limit, so let's do this. It's fine and it's delicious and it's literally perfect as it is. So I need Mitch because I can't lift this because as I lifted it before, I almost broke my back. So my love, my one and only muscles in my house because I'm useless. So basically what I've got here is another pot, a smaller pot, because we're gonna make servings at a time. You can come in. And then I have a sieve with a chucks cloth, which will help us sieve through any of those bits, like the little celery stalks or whatever. We're gonna do that. Well, then we're gonna keep all the other stuff in there because we're gonna obviously strain it and freeze it later, but that's a later problem. We're gonna lift and then pour. I will help you however.
What do you want to do?
Pour it straight into here, like little bits. You're doing great, you're doing great. Yep, yeah, just go, just force. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, half it's coming out, it's fine, keep going. A little bit more force. Love it, love it, love it. Keep going, keep going. Ready, set, okay, stop. Perfect.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a fair bit on the, we have a little bit too much stock wastage, is what I would say, but that's fine. There's no problem with that. We're gonna turn that off now. That will love you and leave you alone. And see all the bits that I've just saved from getting. So it's just basically like the celery leaves and stuff that we don't really want in the stock, but we can just sift that around. And then there is our base for our soup. So now this is what I mean by this recipe when it comes to yiayia. She absolutely talks smack when it comes to ingredients and how much you need. So there is at least about 3 liters of stock in here right now. 3 to 4 liters of stock. She goes to me, I said, okay, how do I, judge the rice in this? And she's like, oh, one of these. It's a coffee cup, right? And I was like, okay, but like how much rice per liquid, like you need to make sure. She goes, oh, no, one of this per person. And I was like, that's really ridiculous. So we're just gonna go with her idea. So let's go with 4 liters of liquid, fill up a pot, and we're gonna go with, how many people are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 people in here. We're gonna use 5 coffee cups worth of rice. So this is a little espresso shot cup. I'll measure it so that it's clear for us, but let me tell you, she stresses me out. So I'm gonna take this sieve, we'll pop that away. Take this, pop that away. We're gonna use this to wash the rice because we need to make sure we're washing it. So I'm using long grain rice. Very important we use this and not basmati because it's just, basmati is weird for this soup. Okay, 1 coffee cup equals, let me get a measuring. Sorry, I'm gonna just kick you out of the way. I'm gonna assume it's just a little bit over 1/4 of a cup. Okay, that's a quarter cup. Okay, just under 1/2 a cup per person. So we'll use, let's say, like, what's this? 1/4 of a cup, okay. Let's say that's 3/4, 1 cup. We'll do 1.5 cups. Okay, so that's our base of this recipe. 4 liters liquid, 1.5 cups of rice. And then as I said before, it's gonna be much like a huge visual thing. We're gonna visually see how the rice is cooking with the liquid, because if you want a more liquidy soup, you obviously want a little bit more liquid in it before you beat the eggs in. But I like a thicker soup, so I like to have almost like, not exactly the same amount, but you want like a little film of it over top. We'll show you in a second because it's very important that way. So let's wash the starch of this rice and then we're gonna throw it in here while that's boiling. Here we go, washed rice goes straight in. We're gonna leave that, spin it around a little bit. We're gonna leave that for about 5-ish, 6 minutes. See how, before the rice is almost ready. Like you want it to be to a point where you've got like a minute to go and then we're gonna do everything else. So we're just gonna like love that, leave it. We're gonna put the lid back on so that it boils over and it just starts like separating the rice, and you're just gonna leave it and do nothing with it right now until that rice is almost ready. So put a timer on, 6-7 minutes, and then we'll come and have a look. Okay, so it actually wasn't 5 or 6 minutes. It's been about 12 minutes and the rice is almost ready. So I say about a 15-minute mark and your rice will be done, but let's go at the 12-minute mark. Now, as to visually see, like Yiayia says, this would be a more runny soup. So you can see the rice is there. However, we do have like quite a little bit on top. So I'm gonna take, because I like a thicker soup, so I'm gonna take a couple ladlefuls out. I'm doing this with my left hand, that was dangerous. Let's go back with my proper hand so that I can not use that. We'll take maybe, I reckon 3 ladles would do us good. We can add this back in later. And then if you don't use this, you can add it back to your stockpile. So this is how I liked my soup. That's all done. We take it off the heat and then we're gonna beat our egg. So you kind of want to visually see, you can always add more stock in. You want to visually see if your stock is thin or thick here, that will end up, your soup will either be thin or thick. I like a thick soup. So here we go. We're gonna beat egg whites first in a bowl, and then we're gonna add the little egg yolks, and then we're gonna add lemon and add a ladleful. So we're gonna do this all at once. So let's get cracking on this. Just on a low heat until this is really light and fluffy. Low beat, not low heat. That was silly. All right, when light and fluffy, we're gonna add the egg yolks in. Nice and orange. Then we're gonna add, this is 1 whole lemon. We're gonna add half of that in. Okay. Now we're gonna beat on low, and as we're beating, we're gonna add 2 ladlefuls of this stock into here. Now, make sure that that is off the heat, because if it isn't, it will curdle. So that is just my pointer of today. If it curdles, it was too hot in here, so make sure that's off. Right, let's do this. Doesn't matter if rice gets in here. Tuck it in. Tuck it in. Now yiayia always blows kisses, so you gotta go. Very important to do that step. Now, as you can see here, this stock is gonna be a thick boy because you can see there is barely any stock on the top of that. All of this goes in and you're gonna stir at the same time. That is so good. Oh, stop it, that's perfect. Yum. So you can see it hasn't curdled or anything because it was like okay heat. But look, check out that. That will solve all your problems. Like, I'm being serious when I say it. It's legit. So now I'm gonna plate it up. We're gonna put it in a bowl. I'm gonna get some of the chicken from in here. We're gonna take it off the bone. We're gonna sprinkle it on top. We're ready to eat. Alrighty, this is so fluffy and delicious. And if you have not tried this recipe before, it's not eggy. So you probably think like, oh, I just like beaten eggs and put it into like a rice. It's really like lemony and light, if that's any way to explain it. It's definitely not eggy. You don't taste the eggs. It's just like a little addition just to make it real fluffy and delicious. So I always add like a little bit of cracked pepper just on the top. Oh my God, this just reminds me of just being a small child because we used to have this all the time. The chicken is so pull-aparty that you just kind of just take it off the bone and just chuck it on top, add a little bit of extra protein. You don't have to do this step, but I really like it. If you've got kids, when I say I attempt to give this to Gigi and give it to her in like a little carrot, chop the carrots up, chop the celery up, and she's like, get that away from me. But as a baby, she really liked it. So here we go. Chicken in. And that is honestly it. Oh, and add a little bit of lemon if you want a little bit extra like lemon on top. I like it. So it's basically like a fluffy, lemony rice soup. And like I said, it will solve all problems because it's like something magic in it. It's my magic soup. I love it so much. Whenever I'm sick and you don't want to eat anything, but you need to be full, this is the perfect thing ever. This actually freezes really well. So you put it into little single serve containers and freeze it, and then you just heat it up in the microwave and it's perfect. Perfect for breakfast. It's actually a really good breakfast. But anyway, this is it. Say thank you to yiayia. Very excited. And everything you need to know, I'll put all those little notes, everything that we did today just to make sure all the measurements are correct in the description. Link to my website with the recipe. Hope you love it. If you make it and your family loves it, let me know because that will make me genuinely really happy. And I will see you next Monday with hopefully something extra delicious.